Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We are here with another amazing recap for you to enjoy. Today we are going to discuss 7, a 1995 psychological thriller film. Watch out, spoilers ahead. The film begins with Somerset, an experienced detective who is just days away from retirement. He is assigned a new partner, Mills, who is a young and impulsive detective. The two of them are called to investigate a murder where an obese man has been tied with wires and forced to eat until his stomach ruptures and he dies. Somerset tells Mills to investigate the neighbors to collect information. While driving in the car, Mills shows that he is not satisfied with Somerset as he sent him away while working. He wants himself to be appreciated and not to be taken for granted. Through the forensic report, they get to know that the killer forced him to eat, and when his stomach filled, he kicked him in the stomach, which caused it to burst. They reach the conclusion that this murder must have some special cause behind it, as no one will waste this much time to kill someone by constantly feeding him. Somerset thinks it is a series of murders, but Captain disagrees, stating that maybe someone has just tortured the obese man. Somerset thinks that it is not a good case for Mills at the start of his career. Mills disappointingly says it is not his first case. Captain reassigns Mills for the case. The next day, which is Tuesday, Mills goes to a building. There he sees many reporters covering the place. The second murder is based on the sin of greed, as they find greed written on the carpet. A wealthy defense attorney is found dead, his body tied to a bed, and he has been forced to cut off a pound of his own flesh. His wife's picture is painted glasses on her face with blood. Captain comes to Somerset and tells him about the murder in which greed is found written there. Somerset does not want to get involved in the case as he is about to retire, but Caption does not want him to retire as he is very good in his work. When Captain tells Somerset that they have found plastic pieces from the stomach of the dead body of the first victim, it makes Somerset a little curious. He goes to the first murder place in the night to detect where the plastic pieces came from. He concludes that the pieces are from the floor. The refrigerator has been moved from its place. When he pulls the refrigerator, he finds that the word gluttony is scrawled on the wall in victim's blood. There is also a note written beneath the word. Somerset goes to the captain and shows him the note, on which there is written, "Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light." Somerset comes to the result that it's just the start of the series from the 7 deadly sins. In the night, Somerset goes to the library to search for the books on the 7 deadly sins. Mills in his office watches the photos taken of the dead bodies and examines them to find more about the murders. As Somerset is about to retire, he does not want to investigate the case further. He now wants a rest from this duty. But he makes a list of clues and his informations and leaves in an envelope on the table for Mills in his office. The next morning, Mills gets a call from his wife. She wants to talk to Somerset. She invites him for a dinner at her house. He accepts her invitation. When he goes to their home, they talk on the dinner table. Tracy asks Somerset that why has he not married till this age. Mills and Somerset both unite at the point that he is not a likable person. Somerset asks them that how are they going in their new apartment. They all get quiet at this, and suddenly all the things start shattering. This answered his question, as the apartment is above the subway. Somerset mocks him and laughs that how can a detective fail in finding such a thing while choosing a house. They all laugh at this. Then they both discuss the case. Mills shows him the pictures taken of the piece of flesh taken from the murder spot of the defense attorney. They also find a note left behind from the killer telling that the flesh piece is 1 pound, no more no less. Somerset tells Mills that they have to notice the picture of attorney's wife, which is painted in blood, as there are glasses painted on it. Maybe she has seen something which she is not telling. They rush to attorney's wife and interrogates her, showing her the pictures of the crime scene. They ask her if she notices something that is strange. Upon focusing, she notices a painting in her husband's room which is hung upside down. She tells it to them. They immediately go to the place to find any evidence. After searching the painting, they find nothing. Mills gets angry that maybe the murderer is distracting them. Just then, Somerset notices the fingerprints on the wall where the painting was being hung. They test the fingerprints and get to know that they are arranged, writing in, "Help me." They leave the fingerprints for the forensic test. They wait for the reports in the lobby. They get the reports of the fingerprints. Somerset still does not accept that the fingerprints belong to the killer. There is some other purpose of the killer behind this, maybe to distract them or something else. He thinks that the killer has maybe some mental illness, that's why he is plotting the murders like this, with the police accompanying them. They reach the suspect's house whose fingerprints matched. When they reach the house, they find a man tied up with the bed. He is the third victim of the killer. There they see some photos lying there. They get to know that the man has been lying there for a year. The murder is representing the sin of sloth. Suddenly, during the inspection, the man starts to move his head and is still alive. A news reporter arrives there to get the latest news and starts to take photographs. Mills gets him out of there angrily and think how did he know about case and the location. They bring the victim to the hospital to find out that it is impossible to know anything from him as his mental level is not supporting him to remember anything. Also, he has chewed his own tongue. He has been tortured a lot before coming to the hospital. Back in the office, Somerset and Mills discuss the case. Somerset does not think that the killer is crazy. He believes that the killer is methodical as he has planned all the murders in a very special way. Throughout the investigation, Somerset becomes increasingly disillusioned with humanity and the horrors he has seen. He wonders how has the killer such patience to strape someone for an entire year and cut his hand to plant fingerprints. Mills, on the other hand, becomes more and more invested in catching the killer, even at the expense of his own well-being. Somerset gets the idea to check the library for some evidences. He knew that the killer is following the 7 deadly sins. He must have read the books giving the related information. They go to the library and gather all the books containing the information about it. They give an FBI agent some bribe to give them the list of the people who got these books. Mills doesn't like the idea as it is illegal, but he has to follow Somerset unwillingly. After going through the list they got, they find one named John Doe. They find out his address and reach there. They do not have an arrest warrant, so Mills is worried that what are they going to say him. Suddenly they see a man standing with groceries who pulls out a gun and starts shooting blindly on him. They start to chase him. The suspect hides himself, and when Mills approaches him he knocks Mills down. Mills cannot figure out what happened suddenly and loses his gun. He holds Mills at gunpoint. Mills closes his eyes, waiting him to press the trigger. The suspect but does not harm Mills and leaves from there. Mills gets very angry after all this and tries to break into Doe's house. Somerset stops him from doing so, explaining that they do not have a warrant and reason to break someone's house like this. Mills cannot control himself and angrily breaks the door by force. He then hires a man to tell the officers that he suspected the man and hence called for the detectives. They enter Doe's house and start investigation. They see many strange things there. They find out many photographs and a hand kept in a glass container used for fingerprints. Mills sees a photo of him when he hushed the news reporter out of the crime scene. He tells this to Somerset and they immediately find out that the news reporter himself was the serial killer. That's why he could be seen every time at the crime scene. Somerset reads the suspect's diary. In the meantime, Doe's phone rings and Mills picks it up. It is Doe himself. He apologizes Mills for hurting him. He gives them a clue that he has moved his schedule because of all what happened. Also, they will get a surprise soon. The 4th victim is a high-end prostitute who has been mutilated, representing lust. When they reach the crime scene, they find the girl dead and a man besides her. They arrest the man and take him with them. They investigate him, on which he said Doe forced him to do all of this at the gunpoint. Mills interrogates the owner of the brothel. The next murder, which is the 5th victim, is a model who has been disfigured with pride. Both the detectives arrive at the crime scene and interrogates their finding the clues. There the killer had given her 2 choices. One, she could call someone for the help or consume pills to commit suicide. But in the case of calling someone, she had to show her shaped face to everyone. She decides to take the pills to get rid of the misery. Now Somerset wants to stay until the case is solved. John Doe follows them and surrenders himself to them with his shirt smeared in the blood. They immediately take him under the custody. The reason that they could never find his fingerprints was he has cut his fingers' skin. Somerset and Mills are confused that why has he surrendered himself like this. Doe talks to his lawyer and his lawyer comes out and talks to the officials. He says that Doe wants the detectives to solve his case. They find out that there is no bank or employment record of him, but he is well educated and a wealthy person. His lawyer tells that there are also 2 hidden bodies. He will only tell about them to the detectives. Otherwise, not only he will spread insanity, but will also not tell them about the bodies. They agree with him and put him in the car. They take him to his directed place. Doe tells Mills that he ensures him he will find all the answers in the end of the act of his work. Doe explains that he finds pleasure in turning the sin over the sinner. But he is not insane. They approach a deserted area. They reach a van and Somerset sets the driver at the gunpoint. But the driver tells him that he is just a delivery man and has a parcel for Mills. He puts a box there and leaves. Doe leads the detectives to the mysterious box, which he claims contains his final 2 victims. Somerset looks into the box and in shock go to Mills, while Doe talks to Mills, revealing that he visited his house this morning. He talks about his ordinary life and pretty wife. He admits that his 6th victim is himself, as he sinned the envy of Mills' simple life. Mills gets angry at this. Somerset tries to convince Mills that Doe's intention is only to be killed by Mills' hands. But Mills cannot control his anger. Doe further infuriates Mills by telling him that his wife also begged for her and her child's life. Mills starts to cry as he didn't know his wife was expecting. Somerset reminds Mills that Doe can only win if he shoots him. Doe reveals his twisted motive: to punish the world for its sins. He has targeted the 7 deadly sins as a way of exposing the moral decay of society. Doe goads Mills into shooting him, revealing that Mills' wife's head is in the box. In the end, Mills is taken away in handcuffs, and Somerset finishes his last day on the job with a newfound appreciation for life. In conclusion, Seven is a dark and gritty thriller that explores the human condition and the darker aspects of human nature. Overall, 7 is a must-watch for anyone who enjoys psychological thrillers. The movie comes to an end with it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get more such entertaining recaps. Also, let me know in the comments section if you want me to recap any other movie of your choice. Thanks for watching. See you until next time.